I accepted a counterfeit $50 bill, then passed it to another customer. This was decades ago when I worked retail, well past the statute of limitations. As a high school student, I worked in a mall, which is a place where, once upon a time in the olden days, people would go to shop. One particularly busy day, a customer paid for their purchase with a $50 bill. Something immediately felt off about the bill. The paper was too stiff and smooth. But there was a line and I was rushing, so I accepted the bill and didn't question the customer. Still, something didn't sit right with me, so when the line died down, I opened my cash drawer to take a closer look. This bill was so obviously a fake, I was embarrassed I accepted it. This was almost 30 years ago, and I don't remember what security features bills included in those days, watermarks, ribbons, etc., but even so, it was clear this wasn't legit. As I mentioned earlier, the paper was too smooth and stiff. That was clear as soon as the customer handed it to me, and I kicked myself for not rejecting it then. It also didn't have any of the colored fibers a real bill would have. And the printing was flawed, and not raised like a real bill. Only a fool would have accepted this bill, and I was that fool. I showed the bill to a coworker, and he agreed that it was counterfeit. He probably also agreed I was a fool, but too polite to say so. In truth, I should have just accepted I made a mistake, and one that was not going to get me fired, and one that providing the lesson to be more careful in the future. The store could easily absorb a $50 loss. This wasn't going to bring me, or the store, down. Mistakes happen. But I didn't leave it that. Later that day, a customer made a small purchase with a $100 bill. In a move I still feel guilty for, I decided this was my opportunity to get rid of that bill. Realizing that the feel of the $50 bill was an immediate clue that the bill wasn't legit, I sandwiched it between other bills that made up the customer's change, $10, $50, $20, I forget the actual denominations. This way, the customer wouldn't feel the counterfeit paper until he left the store. If I felt any relief from getting rid of the counterfeit bill, it was short-lived and replaced by guilt. This was an extremely stupid thing to do. Obviously, the second customer was an innocent victim and didn't deserve what I did. Also, he was far more likely to remember what store, and even which cashier, gave him the fake bill than I was to remember or encounter the customer who passed it in the first place. As far as I know, there were no repercussions from this, other than my guilty conscience and being on Santa's naughty list.